Now we're going to walk through the testing steps of the ANA process. I have with me Harry Baxter, who has so graciously agreed to allow me to test him. Harry, do you have a cell phone in your pocket or any magnetic jewelry or magnetic devices?
No, just a cell phone.
Just a cell phone? Okay, if you don't mind, we'll just remove it for the testing. Now, do you have any pain in your neck or arms? No? Okay, good. So we'll start our testing. Harry, if you will extend your arm forward. So the arm is extended forward and the elbow is locked in a straight locked position. Then I'm going to put the palm of my hand right on the wrist and push down about 2 pounds of pressure for about 2 inches. And resist. Very good. Testing works. So if you will, extend your arm, press up and I'll press down. Very good. Now I'm going to put a cube of sugar in your hand because I want you to feel how when a cube of sugar is on your skin, a chemical reaction will occur, and we will measure that chemical reaction by testing the muscle. But I want the patient to feel their arm weaken, so they'll know that this is a valid test. So push up. All right, and did you feel your arm go weak?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. That was with a sugar cube. Did you feel your arm weaken?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Now this is a very valuable educational piece for this patient. The next thing that you want to know is how to calibrate the patient, because I'm going to perform a calibration test on the bridge of the nose. This allows me to gauge my pressure and also know if the patient is recruiting or applying too much pressure. And basically, I'm going to teach this patient how to be tested. All right, I'm going to touch the bridge of your nose. Your arm should go strong. When I touch with my fingernail, it should go weak. Did you feel that? Mm-hmm. That's a reflex. Now suppose that when I touch the bridge of his nose with my fingernail, his arm does not go down. That means he's recruiting and he's applying too much pressure. So I'm going to ask him to cooperate with me and just reduce the amount of pressure that he's applying. So I didn't get a reflex, so I'm going to ask you just to reduce the amount of pressure or resistance that you're applying so that we can be on the same page and I can get a test. Excellent. Right where the nose meets the face. So right there is the spot that we're going to touch with the soft part of the finger and test. We should get a strength. And then immediately turn the finger over to the fingernail, the flat side, touch the same spot and test. We should get a weakness. So now the patient knows how to be tested and the patient is ready to be tested. So we'll proceed with our testing, drainage test, because we want to know are the pathways of drainage or elimination of toxins in the body all working? That's very important to know, but we also want to understand what are the core issues that are keeping this patient from healing. So we're going to do the drainage test. And to do that, we're going to put the flat palm of the hand with the fingers outstretched right over the belly button. Point to your belly button, Harry. All right, so you can either use your hand or you can use the patient's hand. So I'm going to use the patient's hand. Stretch your palm out. Put the palm part over your belly button and push on it. Now hold this arm up and press. So you notice the arm remains strong. That means he is blocked. He is not open. He needs some drainage. So we need to find out what drainage does he need. So if you have the foundational kit from A&A, we're going to pull the red dots. Here's a close-up look at the test files that contain the red dots found in your ANA test kit. These contain drainage remedies from Standard Process and MediHerb that you will need to test and correct drainage and balance. So I'm just going to pull them all at random, and I'm just going to have him hold it over his belly button. You can put it anywhere on the body. And I'm just going to keep pulling them until I find one that gives me an unlock. So we just got an unlock, and food allergies come. And you might want to go through all of them initially, just so you get an idea. All right, and we have heavy metals there. So here we have 2 drainage remedies. We have Cholacol 2 and Multizyme. So I'm just going to select one of these. You may have found more than 2. It doesn't matter how many drainage items that you find on the drainage test. You just want to pull one. Just choose one. And I'm just going to choose Cholacol 2. So I'm going to have you hold Cholacol 2 right over your belly. And so now he's open. His arm went down. Now he's open. So the drainage item that I found on the drainage test, I'm going to keep on the patient. So we've put on the vial holder, and I'm going to put it right in his pocket. The next thing we're going to proceed with is called the balance test. We have the drainage in the vial holder, and now we're going to do the balance test. So the balance test is the little finger and the thumb tips are together. Pinky thumb, resist. So he is balanced on the right, open hand. Pinky thumb, resist. And he's balanced on the left. Now suppose he was not balanced on either side. What would you do? So we're going to walk through that scenario. So we're going to pretend you're not balanced. So pinky thumb together and let your arm go down. So if the arm goes down, that means he is not balanced. So I'm going to go back to the drainage item that I originally found, and I'm going to see if that balances him. So hold the drainage item in your hand. Keep your little finger and thumb tips together. Resist. And that balances him. I'm going to put that in the vial pocket, but I'm going to test the other side as well. So pinky thumb together, resist. Good. So now he's balanced, and now I can proceed with the organ points test. So now we're ready to test all the organ systems with the ANA organ points test. And for that, you want to use the form called the ANA organ points form. And as we test all the organ systems, you want to check off what shows weak. So let's proceed. I'm going to calibrate to make sure he isn't holding too much pressure, and he isn't, so he's testable. Now I'm going to start with the brain point. The brain point is right at the top of the head, and you want to put a little pressure and take your hand, cover as much area of the brain as you can. Go to the back of the brain, but right on the top. Next, we're going to go to the upper sinus, and then the eyes, the lower sinus, the upper jaws, the lower jaws. And then right under here are the glands called the parotid glands. And right here is the thyroid gland. So we're going to test the thyroid. And then we're going to come down and we're going to test the thymus gland and the bronchial gland. Over here is the lungs, the upper chamber of the heart, the lower chamber of the heart, the right lung, and then right here we're going to the stomach. And then the small intestine is going to be, take your fingers like a claw and wrap them around the belly button, both directions. So test, test, test. That's the small intestine. Large intestine is the ascending, the transverse, the descending, and the sigmoid. Very good. Now I'm going to have him put his hand over his bladder, prostate area. Good, so all checks out. On a female, it's uterus, uterus, and then below the uterus is the bladder. And then to the left of the uterus is left ovary, and to the right of the uterus is right ovary. And then we can check the breast by having the patient put their hand on the breast. So we're checking right breast and left breast. Now we're going over to the liver. And so the liver goes from here all the way around. And right in the middle under the rib is the gallbladder. So we're going to cover as much as we can and push a little harder on the gallbladder. And it looks like his liver is checking out okay. Spleen is going to be right just above the rib and under, and the pancreas. So the kidneys are going to be, here's the waistline, and so you want to go right at the waistline, just above it, and test. And looks like we've got a little weak kidney over there. You see that? And let's go to the right kidney. And looks like the right kidney is a little weak as well. Now right at the top of the kidneys is the adrenal gland. And it's going to be in that. Now you want to go to the bottom, and right at the bottom is the bladder, the back of the bladder. So and also the sacrum. So I'm going to focus on Harry's kidneys because those are the ones that came up weak. So in our ANA kit, we see our kidney group of test vials includes Renafood, Renatrophin, Spanish black radish, Alboplex, and AC carbamide. So I'm going to start pulling these vials for the kidneys and testing them. So I'm going to pull AC carbamide, and I'm going to have Harry hold that. And I get a strength. So Harry's going to hold AC carbamide. Okay, that looks like a good one. So we're going to use AC carbamide, but I'm also going to test the other kidney support. So Alboplex comes up strong on the right, but not the left. Renafood did not come up as a support product. So I'm pulling Renatrophin, and I get a strength on both kidneys. So Renatrophin is going to be my choice. So let's take the vials out of your pocket. This is Harry's protocol.